Hey everybody, welcome to episode 110 of Tactical Crouch. I'm Kickedtripod, joined by Yiska and Volamel. Back to a good old show this week. We've got week 2 of the Summer Showdown to go over with you guys. Should be a good time. Thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and fade that music out. I've had enough of that, and we are just gonna... I bet you Joe's had enough of it too.
Oh, bro. Ever since we put it on.
Mute it every week?
Every time you see me kind of do one of these, it's turning the volume down on my GoXLR Mini and then turning it right back up. I can't stand to listen to myself talk. It's like nails on chalkboards.
Coward.
You're not talking, you're singing.
Yeah.
I guess even more so.
That's what I would call it too. Some call it a mating call, others call it singing.
Boo How guy has it right. Doo Doo Piss is a banger. Okay?
You know. Now that's what I call music. 93.
It really is.
Yeah. Oh, well, chat, thank you for being here. If you're not listening live and you're watching on YouTube or listening on your podcast outlets, thank you for joining us as well. If you like the show, want to support it, you can subscribe, twitch.tv/Kickedtripod. Use that free Prime sub if you like. Otherwise, just use a regular sub. Totally cool. Otherwise, another great way to support is go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch, and we've got some cool perks there. Game night this Friday. Twitch.tv/Kickedtripod. We're going to do it right after Spike Drop, which I am so ill-prepared for at the moment. I just need to get this. I need to get this video out the door so that I can catch up over the next 2 days. I think I'm just going to take tomorrow off, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to spend time catching up. And then, yeah, if you like, hey, I want to support you guys, but I can't necessarily give you money or don't want to. A great way to do it right now is just to join us for our live shows. We're still in partner limbo, so we don't know if we've got it or not, but we need to keep those rookie numbers up so that if we don't get it, we can reapply as soon as possible and be like, hey, we are still meeting all the criteria. Look at this. And hopefully that goes really well. Or leave us a 5-star iTunes review at just search for Tactical Crouch. Sweet. All right, let's get into the news brought to you by... Let's make sure I got all these. Yeah, I didn't think I did. Battlecrab Pin Lotion, Charlie L Audio Compass, Porkchop Sammy, Kasha 67, Gucci Kopi, Char Picasso, Nathan Your Misery, Hunter Tane, Refined Bean, Rex Zane, Roger B, Fabled Steven, and Owen. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I love you. And kudos, cheers to you all. And let's talk about, I think the big news before we start discussing the upcoming matches this weekend is LA Gladiators made a pretty big signing, Joe.
Yeah, bringing on Kevster, I think, is probably one of the biggest moves in the midseason. I don't know if it'd be
outside of like
fair to call it the season in general, but
outside of the implosions of the Titans.
Yeah, that one. That's kind of, I don't know. In a weird way, I kind of discount that just because it's like nobody could have seen it coming, and then it's like, well, of course, like any of those players probably going to a team is probably going to be a big move, but maybe clarifying it as like an Overwatch contenders, player coming up. Easily one of the biggest ones. Not a name that I'm super familiar with, just because this season of contenders in general, and even some of the past ones, I haven't been really keeping up with NA and EU. So like, I've only heard incredibly glowing things and very, very good things about Kevster, but I'm interested to see him play on the biggest stage. I've heard very good things. Now he gets to, come out and perform very well on this team that could use some extra firepower. So exciting times.
Kevster's EU, right, Yiska?
Yeah.
So you know everything about him because you're from the same continent, right? That's how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Exactly how that works. So it's interesting. Like when I talk to people about Kevster initially, it was like nobody's getting this boy off his island. He doesn't wanna or whatever. Like again, not great sources said this, but yeah. And if people remember way back when, like we talked about Graz, if they want to be the top Western go-to destination, they got to get Kevster. Well, the pay seems to, I mean, he hasn't heard that, but it makes perfect sense to have that and go after him in that regard. And I can imagine it, like, as soon as he made himself available, I think there were probably a bunch of offers that he got.
For sure, yeah.
And it's, like, I'm sure being able to free up salary slots with Paintbrush helped in this negotiation as well. So overall, like, great pickup. I think we like. I mean, it's not a hot take. I think we're going to see a lot from Kevster, even in the off role. Could totally see him establishing himself as a starter in many metas, but we'll have to see how this goes. For instance, for the next one, for this one, this is already interesting, right?
Yeah. If like Ash Tracer and like these Widow comps on certain control maps kind of stick around. And if I'm understanding it again, like I'm speaking completely out of school here, but from the little bits that I've seen of him, he seems very hit scan kind of oriented. So like him and Birdring can, very easily riff off each other and do super well. So yeah, it's a good pickup. It makes a lot of sense. It's not just, Birdring's getting benched. No, there are ways that both players can play at the same time. And Birdring has also shown, as we've talked about, going into the preseason, some motivation issues, let's say, and having somebody to kind of either light a fire or just be a very competent substitute. If that's like the, least on the rungs of possibilities, that's an opportunity to come in and do extremely well. Again, if, like Yiska said, if this is going to be the go-to Western roster, you got to make go-to Western roster moves, and Kevster's easily the hottest free agent on the market, it seemed like, and there we go. Kevster's a flex. Okay, well, I'm big dumb.
Yeah, he's flex.
Okay.
But I would say it's fair to ascribe a hit scan weight to him.
Fair enough.
I think he's one of those guys that just has like, those guys that where it's unfair, where they just succeed. Like I could totally see Kevster being one of these kids that just like would be nuts at every video game as well. That type.
Yeah.
It's like
super talented.
Where it's like if he was to stop playing Overwatch today, he'd probably be League of Legends challenger in a year tops. That type of guy, right?
So yeah, with the context that he's flex, I think this makes even more sense. I think I was a fan of Jaru like during Envision. This season in general, I don't think that I've seen enough good things from him to really justify him at a starting roster. So I think if Kevster can come in and play these flex DPS, characters and be able to riff into, hit scan, yeah, he's probably worth every dollar that they're paying him, and I'm sure they're paying him quite a lot. So, yeah, this is it only gets better the more that you're explaining Kevster to me.
Now that you got that huge paintbrush off the payroll.
Oh.
Huge money savings.
Do it. Give it to yourself. Oh, God. That's
I can.
You don't ask the banker to.
Yeah.
This is tyranny, chat. This is tyranny.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's about all the substance that I'm going to be providing to the show today. So you don't have to.
That's not true.
You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that. But yeah, Kevster, cool sign up. I think that puts Gladiators at 10, 11 if you count Sideshow. And, so there's still a little bit of room there. Mm-hmm. If they should need it. And
so one last thing with that.
Yeah.
Kind of Gladiators topic in general, kind of a little bit more broad. But are players what they need right now? Let me pose that to you. Do you feel like they're at a player dilemma? Because I don't think so.
They don't have any other dilemma, dude. If it's not players, what else could it be?
They shouldn't. That's the thing. I don't know. I genuinely can't put my finger on why they're messing up because I don't think their roster's all that bad. Again, like going into the season, like that was a gripe of mine trying to put them in like the top 10 because of how many, super stacked rosters that we've had. But then you look at Atlanta and Paris, kind of being a little shaky. Paris obviously having, a player, fly out of the country and be ill. But I don't know that this is a roster issue. I think Kevster obviously helps, but I don't know if their problems are in the sector of not being able to pick certain heroes or not being able to play certain compositions. I don't know. I won't prescribe it as too many cooks, but I wonder, if as they're clashing in the coaching staff, is there something not clicking? Is there pushback from the roster? I don't know. Why did Paintbrush leave? That seems very strange. Is that like a starting role? I want to play time, so I'm going to Dallas. That'll give me play time.
No, you trade him away to make room for Kevster, right?
I mean, they technically have room, but yeah, you still save, even though it's a little bit, you're still saving some money there.
For sure. I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't add the depth. So like, there's no depth at support, right? They're only at 2 supports now in Shaz and Big
right.
Goose.
Yeah, but that is also the longest standing backline in the Overwatch League.
100%, and you don't want to break that up.
I'm definitely not making the argument there, but just because you're the longest standing doesn't mean during a time of a global pandemic.
Actually against
like,
it.
It's like this isn't exactly the time to be like, it's worth the risk. Like when it comes to
but it's worth the money, right? Like
no, for sure, 100%.
I guess it also kind of depends on how much Paintbrush's contract was worth and what they expected out of him.
100%. I don't know. It's a lot of just little things. Again, I think Kevster helps. Don't, YouTube comments, Reddit, don't try to prescribe this as Kevster is hurting this roster. It's not. He's not. He's a great player. I've heard only beautiful things from this kid. So I'm excited to see him actually play. But the Gladiators in general have not lived up to the expectations the community has kind of set for them. I was skeptical going into the season. Why haven't they been as successful? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't know that it's a roster issue. Maybe it is. Maybe Kevster comes in, they have a honeymoon phase, they get all the confidence back like we've kind of discovered through, talking to Christopher and whatnot and all these other coaches, and maybe they perform and can kind of rise to the occasion.
Maybe it's a belief issue. Maybe you need to believe more.
Could be.
Could be on you.
Maybe.
Could be on you, man.
I just need to start lighting candles. Give me the Gladiators effigies.
Yes,
and I'll hang them up.
Clipped out of context. Or what people will do is they will take this very hypothetical scenario and question asking thing as Joe thinks that Gladiators have internal turmoil and
keyword there is thinks.
Bergering doesn't work hard.
It's very nice of Joe to already book D.Va by being aggressively wrong once again.
Got me.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
We got a guest for when I'm on vacation.
It's true.
You got me.
Yes. Yeah. Volamel says Kevster is a terrible pickup that will ruin Glads. Let's click that one. Let's do it.
Send it to D.Va.
Send it. Okay. So anyways, any other thoughts on this? Do we want to spend any more time on the Gladiators?
I mean, we'll return to them with their upcoming matches, but in general, Kevster is fantastic. Interested to see what this new look Gladiators, coming into week 20 looks like.
I'll tell you now, I don't think they're that bad. The only real taint on their records really is Boston. That's it.
100%. They haven't been that bad. Like, I agree. But and again, it's preseason expectations, so put it with a grain of salt. I think a lot of people expected this team to do like top 4, top 5, not struggle to be like top 10 discussion.
Yeah, but a lot of that is also down to like strength of schedule to a degree, especially in context of when they played these teams, right? So it starts off
early
with Vancouver's early Titans, then Shock. They even win against Shock.
Sure.
Then Dynasty. You never know what you're going to get with Dynasty, and they were pretty good in NA.
They were.
Then they smash Dallas. They have a rematch against Shock where they get smashed. They win against Valiant. They win against Defiant. Then they lose against Paris Eternal. If I'm not mistaken, that was still with No, couldn't have been with XCI, I think.
I don't believe so.
Then they lose to Boston, and since then, I don't think they have. So then they lose to Boston, smash Justice. Beat Atlanta. Then they lose against Fusion, no problem there, and then they beat Atlanta.
Right.
So
they just have had kind of a tough schedule. Like honestly, like they've played, especially for being a team that is NA, right?
Yeah.
They've played Shock twice, and they even got a win out of it. They played Titans before they broke up. They played Dynasty, which not everybody has in NA. Like, I don't know. 5-5 is rough, but that's still not saying that they're an actual 500 team, I think. And this is definitely going to help.
Yeah, I think if we're going to start not prescribing, but like if Seoul's a team that you really don't know what you're going to get, I feel like Gladiators is kind of nearing that kind of area where it's okay, you perform well against top teams, or you at least take them close. You beat up on teams that you should, and then teams that you should very easily beat. There's some issue. There's some problems. Maybe this is just maybe a hero pool Boston kind of mix up, but I don't know. I still don't feel strongly on the Gladiators. Their record says otherwise. The record tells me that this is a decent team, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get into this later. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll also say I will. Like, if I'm Gladiators, I'm sweating if I get lose against in this next match. That's my litmus test. Are you actually not a good team?
If they lose against either of these next two teams,
if you lose the one against the Justice, that we're not going to talk about today. Yeah, okay, of course. But
I don't see that happening.
If we can predict it based on the records that everyone has. With 7-5, they're sitting around 8th place behind Eternal. Then we gotta wait for the new schedules.
Sure.
And we don't know what
there's a lot of easy.
Get, yeah.
True, especially yeah. That's also the case. So we'll see. I don't think the tide is necessarily high, and they're close to drowning here. Still a good sign that they win against Atlanta, even though that's probably also meta dependent, but. That it was as decisive as it was, but yeah.
The E projections have the LA Gladiators. They have the second strongest strength of schedule, just a little bit in front of the Vancouver Titans, and that's a little bit skewed because Fuel are obviously a lot stronger than like what their past map win rate and stuff are. They seem to be a lot better right now. So. I mean, I think the Gladiators on top of that and making some big moves. Like this should be a team that does relatively well.
I think so.
In that whatever third seed slot, and then I mean, you don't know. Like you also can't put it past Fusion to lose to Shock in week 3, and that puts them into second seed, wouldn't it? Depending on how bad the spaking is.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
And assuming that the Gladiators if the Gladiators and Mayhem went out, as we kind of expect them to. But then the Shock would have to. Well, we'll have to see. Lots of things that could happen. Probably shouldn't speculate too much. Instead, what we should do is let's talk about some of these matches. We're gonna go through the Asia region first. Does that sound okay?
Lego.
All right, match number 1, Seoul Dynasty versus Guangzhou Charge, 68% in favor of Seoul.
Okay, Joe.
Do you want to go first? Fighting? I think this is might be where we're fighting, because I was told the Seoul Dynasty NYXL game was not worth watching, and I could not disagree more. I think in a world where we don't have rotating metas, I think that game is a banger. I want to see that in a best of 7. I actually quite enjoyed that game. I think Seoul did not execute well in a few key a few key moments. Most notably at the end of Control. Second map on Control, they tried to grab to keep them off point. They didn't get everybody one touched and they lost. The cheese on Hollywood didn't work. Outside of that, I think they actually played pretty well.
They threw 2 maps.
Which maps?
The ones you just mentioned. You make it sound like that is the little thing, dude. That's like slipping on a banana peel.
Yeah, it's not great, but this isn't like some sort of like, oh my god, the Seoul Dynasty collapsing after winning the Melee. It was all a flash in the pan. No, I mean I don't think they're a fantastic team. NYXL obviously played better, that's why they kind of won, but this was not some sort of like Seoul Dynasty look evaporated and gaunt, like this team actually still looks good.
They smashed themselves. That's
in every moment that it counted. Sure, yeah, I could agree with that. But in the neutral, they seem to be playing well. I actually thought Badosan actually looked very, very solid.
Sure.
I wasn't completely I'm still not sold on the Reaper Tracer kind of dive that they're running. They seem
Why are they running dive, bro? I don't understand. What is that? Why? Like, haven't we look? Are we? Is that not true? Are they not a double shield team?
They are 100%.
So what the? Interesting. When you mute your microphone, you can't beep. This is how good my aim is, guys. This is what you will be like at 33. You will literally miss the button, and
you mute your mic. I've done that. Yeah. So okay, let me
waking up in the morning and not dribbling on yourself will be an achievement. Look forward to it.
Let me throw out some possibilities, okay? As my camera decides it's gonna blur me. And I'm not saying that this is what they're doing, right? Maybe they think this is just like the best composition based on their scrims, based on the hero pool, whatever, right? Even though we should assume that Seoul should be playing double shield everywhere where it's applicable, and they aren't, which is bizarre. I'll 100% agree there. Is there a world where they're already kind of practicing for something that isn't hero pools? Are they practicing for the tournament? Are they trying to scrim and play these compositions to get better at them?
Joe.
Yes.
They're 6 and 5. They're in 10th place right now in the likely stronger region, which likely means they have a pretty hard strength of schedule. And they sometimes get smashed out by terrible teams. How in the hell can they afford to like experiment with their lives on the line? What, like this?
Well, when are they supposed to?
Keep doing it, guys. I want to see that. I want to see you outside of play-ins. Please do it. Like, you know how everyone's like, but they can be in a dark horse position. Not on 13th place, they can't.
I mean, you can win back these losses though, and they did kind of do that last tournament, if you remember correctly.
Sure.
So if this is what they're doing, and I'm not saying that it is, but it's a possibility, right? In my mind, at least. And my mind has some crazy shit going on in it. This could be either just a hero pool like misread. Maybe it's a scrim misread. Maybe they're scrimming people who are playing these more dive centric compositions. They think it's good. Again, I'm not completely sold on the Reaper Tracer. I think it is very beatable. I think it was probably a mistake to run it into New York because they are so hog centric, and it's a composition that or at least a flavor that they've shown in weeks previous. Seems like a mismatch just stylistically, but their double shield still looks good, and they can always kind of rely on that, right?
By the way, Joe, if this ends in you predicting charge, I'm taking the next slide and spanking your butt.
No. Okay. I kind of agree with the prediction measurements. I'd say like around 65 just to give it kind of like a nice, not even number, but
put some respect on my charge, dude. Like,
I don't think charge is bad, but I don't think the Seoul Dynasty played all that poorly against New York. And I think New York severely looks a lot better. Like, NA returning looks fantastic on the Ash. Hoxall looks nuts.
I agree with all of that. Yeah.
I think that New York roster just looks fantastic. And I think Seoul Dynasty, as dumb as this sounds, I think that was a way closer 3-0 than I think people are giving them credit for.
Was that the deal in the DMs with Arnold?
No, and I knew somebody was going to bring this up. I was like,
what's the deal? That was the deal.
This isn't, Arnold, thank you for coming on the show. Much appreciated this. You're not bullying me into predicting, your team in the future. I genuinely think that Seoul is going to win this. I think it'll be close, but I think they won.
Joseph is a man of integrity. How dare you, chat?
Yeah.
Do this, Joe.
I'm drinking coffee. It's going to be all white.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a little brown. Never mind that.
No.
Charge.
Me and Sheriff Brown Star don't get along. Charge.
Oh man, I can't. No, just the thought of. Oh,
no.
So
that's 60% charge. 60% charge.
Right,
I mean, we're just opposite sides of the same coin.
Soul. I mean, it's fine. Obviously Soul.
Yeah.
This is. Come on, get out of here.
He predicted Soul. Look what they did. They won they almost won Melee.
Also remember,
John's the good luck charm.
I've got like the second highest.
That's true.
Like
his power rankings
stuff or whatever. And I know 30% of what you guys know.
Did you guys just see how Joe just temporarily made Soul the winners of Melee?
I corrected myself.
Weird how that
I corrected
right?
myself.
How such a lazy bum as Prophet is able to win such a tournament against a stellar team like the Shanghai Dragons. Never mind, man.
He's not lazy when it counts, though. He's just lazy when homework's due. But when tests come, A+, baby.
That's what I keep telling myself when like going for job interviews. I'm not lazy when it counts.
That's right.
I guess pretty good.
I guess those last 4 maps against Shanghai then didn't count.
Nope. They don't exist here.
All right, on to the next one. Spitfire versus Hunters.
Ooh.
This is kind of interesting, eh?
Joe.
I see. This one's tough. It really depends on what Chengdu shows up.
What Chung does? Say it. What Chengdu
is this? Whatever Chengdu does. Okay. If lawful neutral Chengdu shows up and they play meta things and they play like double shield, they could do okay. But if chaotic evil Chengdu shows up, they start playing like dive.
Then it's Chengdu.
I think Chengdu has a good chance at winning this game.
Like a 42%.
I don't disagree. I think they have a good chance. I still think it would. I mean, we have also
we haven't seen them though. That's the problem.
The odds are 58-42 London.
58-42. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Like, just like, to be honest, I don't feel comfortable predicting a team I haven't seen. Right. That said, I don't think London looked that poorly. I think actually Bernard in that Shanghai game kind of popped off. There was a point on King's Row where he legitimately blocks, like on reaction, Void's Grav with Sigma Shield. Like, I don't think this kid's being talked about enough. Like, Glister definitely like has all the highlight clips, has all the pop-ups. Bernard has quietly been making a run to be on the ballot. I don't think he'll win, but Bernard has been playing lights out all season long, and I don't think people have been talking about it in the slightest.
He had a couple of lower weeks in the very beginning before hero pools. He had the 2 really good weeks, remember?
Yeah.
And it was like, holy cow, look at Bernard. And then he kind of fell off a little bit into that and right into the middle or beginning of hero pools.
Let me see. Yeah, I mean, that's also hero pools too, though. But I know where you're coming from.
Whatever excuses work for you, my man.
Like, London doesn't have a bad player that's starting. I genuinely feel that. I feel like J-Mac has kind of grown on me. He's not amazing, but he's not a bad player.
It's not the
Burna is nuts, Glister is nuts, all those come in. Like,
I'm not big on
Sanguinar is nuts.
Sanguinar is fantastic. I think that's another, like, not standout rookie. I wouldn't go that far, but definitely somebody that was not on my radar and has pleasantly surprised me. I don't know why we're swinging so hard on JMac. I think maybe he's fed less, but still not like some sort of good main tank player.
No.
It's amazing how much better you look as a main tank when the rest of your team around you is stepping up and elevated.
Yeah. I mean, he's also like just not feeding though, which is an improvement. So I have to give him credit there. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the roster in general. I think Glistener needs some assistance at DPS. Like they have a lot of just waffly Swiss cheese pieces that are like okay sometimes, and it's just like a dice roll at who you throw in. Like Shui was hyped up, had a couple like okay Genji performances earlier on in the season. One good play doesn't make a good player, right? Like I don't know. I think they could have used a Haksal. They could have used, a Kevster, right? A Korean Kevster, if you want to put it that way. But I think Glistener needs help. I think if you gave him some help, I think this team looks a lot better. This feels like a roster problem.
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely improve. Don't get me wrong. But I also think although it's kind of nasty with the May, and if they were able to keep running that, I'd feel differently. But then again, like both of these teams are once again like much like the rest. Is there a consistent Asian team, dude?
Is there a consistent team right now, or are there a lot of consistent teams? Like again, we all know why that is. In Asia, though,
I mean, Justice is consistent.
How micro do you?
Sure, go? Justice and Shock.
Vancouver is consistent. Yeah.
What do you mean how micro?
Like how micro do you like? Is Shanghai not consistent?
Definitely. Well, they're the most consistent, but even with them, like you losing to Chengdu earlier on, like people always have like those one-off, like Shock even.
Is that inconsistent though? Like is losing a single match to a single team?
I don't think losing
inconsistency.
I don't think losing one match.
If you flip a coin 100 times and it's heads 90% out of the 100, is that inconsistency?
No, that's a Rick coin.
Is it sure? You get what I'm saying, right? It's like
100%. I agree.
Yeah.
If you're on top of the odds and you win on all those odds, and then 1 week you're on top of the odds and you lose, it's.
I think in general, across the board, most teams have shown more inconsistency this season than historically been available to them, right? And I'm not going to go into why that is. I think we all know exactly where I'm headed with it. Not going to say the HP word. Not saying it.
Harry Potter.
P-Rose.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Yeah, that one. That said, though, I would say Asia is probably the most inconsistent, with NYXL like completely bottoming out in the melee, but looking solid before that. Picking up Haksal, looking good now. Knitting obviously returning. Seoul completely back and forth. Charge, Spark. Yeah, if we were to attribute the most inconsistent region, I would agree with Asia. Bad teams are bad teams in the West, and good teams are good teams in the West for the most part. There's a gray, middle part, but not as gray as Asia, I'd say.
Yeah. So, long story short, I think I would put London as a slight favorite here, but for the same reasons Joe mentioned. Like, we haven't seen Chengdu on this meta. If I'm extrapolating to what it could be, I don't feel it's amazing for Chengdu. Now, how is it for... It's probably also not great for London, simply because you probably don't want burnout of D.Va for one. And the DPS line is also like, do you have 2 world-class hit scan? No. So, it's kind of hard. So, 55 London.
Yep, I'd agree.
All right. I bet you there is, by the way. I wonder if there's if Eric can like go and actually find like the team that has most constantly been in line with the odds, like the public odds.
I'd imagine it's probably like one of the top teams, or like I guess it would be either the super top or like the super bottom, like the worst or the best.
Yeah. But like I have a feeling that there might be like a sleeper that's like 4th or 5th. That's like Houston, and like you know, Houston's the most consistent team, but we just don't attribute it to them because they win and lose. Because it's like, because consistency just isn't about winning all the time or losing all the time, right? It's about
100%.
Winning when you're supposed to win and losing when you're supposed to lose. And it's really easy to find the teams that should be losing all the time and winning all the time, but it's a little bit harder when you've got like an Outlaws in there or a Valiant, I think, is another one that might be interesting.
Yeah, I want to say Atlanta is one of those teams, which is fairly predictable.
Yeah.
Memory serves right. With the exception maybe of losing to Valiant. Other than that, I feel like during the time that happened, they pretty much performed on par with expectations, maybe. I mean, of course, like they lost in their second game, which was still in March, if people remember. Like the entire February for them was off, and they had a double weekend, which is rough. But they lost to the Paris Eternal there, and I don't think we yet realized at that point just how good Paris Eternal would be and how they are basically in the same tier as Atlanta. In hindsight, it makes a lot more sense. So there were not really many outbreak performances, in the sense that, okay, before the season, 100%, like, you don't believe that Valiant wins against Atlanta. But if you go week by week and assess based on the power levels that we all perceived to be the case, I think Atlanta is getting kind of close to like that type of team.
Yeah. I'd have to go back and look through all the weeks to get a better feel for it, but Atlanta does kind of seem like a good shout. Like, they win when they're supposed to win, and then they kind of lose.
Really?
Feels like it. Again, I'd have to go back and look, but they beat the teams that they should, and then kind of trade with teams in their same tier.
I'm pulling it up.
That's fine. And then they lose against like top teams, so it's
they win against the Defiant, lose against the Eternal, beat the Uprising, beat the Mayhem, lose to Fusion, beat the Justice, lose to Fusion, lose to Valiant, beat the Outlaws.
That's a kind of a trade.
Lose to Shock, beat the Mayhem, beat the Defiant, lose to the Mayhem, lose to the Gladiators.
Yeah, I'd say that's kind of in line. I think with the growth of Florida, that could be explained with those couple losses. And I think Valiant, again, like, people were very down on them going into the season, and I think that obviously now is proven to be very false or incorrect.
And so I believe that was the no hero pool weekend. That was the second no hero pool weekend match from
May Melee.
Oh. So take that. Yeah,
could be that sleeper pick. That sleeper pick of being a consistently kind of just predictable team.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's go on to this next one. Spark versus NYXL.
Yeah.
What? Shut up, Yiska.
Can you hear the rubbing?
Are you genuinely gonna do this after not?
So this is right now, for if we're looking at the odds for the audio listeners, 80% NYXL.
Yeah.
Based on those odds, I would go Spark. I'm not going Spark, but I'm saying this is a game.
as a betting man, I'd probably bet on
35.
Yeah.
You think? I mean, mine would be only 5% off, but I'd probably hit the ceiling on this.
Yeah. I mean, also in my mind, to be fair, like, NYXL is nuts now. If they can look like this already, I mean, it was messy, but you expect it to be messy. And it's like the hilarity, like I wrote this article on Monday, and basically it felt like the question going in I had was, can Huxal integrate into the NYXL? And the answer ended up being a counter question: can the NYXL keep up with Huxal?
Yep.
And that is really cool that development happened as quickly as it was. Gave it wasn't even showboating or anything with those Genji picks. That's kind of that was really cool. It's still a tall order for the Spark team. I think like you could ask, like if for instance if they hadn't picked up Haksal and they were still playing that Who Are You stuff, then I maybe I'm going for that spicy take there and giving Architect a lot of benefit of the doubt. But here that's rough. Like this NYXL might genuinely be challenging the Shanghai Dragons. So maybe not now, but maybe by the time the tournament rolls around. So we'll see. But yeah, it's 65 NYXL. But still, that kind of speaks to the quality of that Spark roster, or relative quality.
The Spark should look better with Architect. If there was a team that I'd rather put Haksal on, I think the Spark, after their melee performance, really showed that they had like proactivity issues, let's call it, right? Like they did not take fights at all. It felt like every time they were getting engaged on and losing. They never tried to kind of push the, maybe it was the compositions, maybe it was the meta. Fair enough. I don't think that's a problem that you can solve by putting in a player like Architect. You need somebody that's going to lead the charge. That's not to say that Architect's a bad player, but it's not the person I prescribe to being a spearhead, right? It's not the Fissure. It's not the Architect. It's not the Sinatra. It's not these players that can lead the charge and play aggressively and play to kind of not get picks. It seems very general, but to be that leader on the field, not necessarily in the communication. That said, I think Architect is a fantastic pickup. Somebody that, again, we've been banging drums about for years now, it feels like, and will be an upgrade to this roster. But again, the NYXL look fantastic. Nele looks fantastic. Haksal looks fantastic. Hotba, though, maybe it was just the Seoul game, but it was a little rough.
We get it. You hate Hotba.
I really don't like Hotba.
Despise.
I think he's so overrated
as a person and a player.
That's not true.
I think you're wrong.
I don't.
Hateful Joe.
I'm not big on Hotba. I also don't know.
Pretty nutty.
I think he's really good, but I agree with Joe that there's just this aspect of unleashed. So leashed Hotba, I guess, that I feel like we've kind of seen. He still has had some nutty plays, though.
Yeah, I don't know about his work ethic, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he can be student syndromed. He'll be the next victim. No, I don't think he's...
We haven't had anyone from NYXL yet. This is great.
I'm very interested on NYXL's like hog theory. Again, a composition that historically all season long that they've kind of like peppered in when dive starts to come about. So maybe that's like a Hotba thing. I don't know, but not super big on him. I know that the community, even at the start of the season, oh my God, Hotba's the next, big bot. No, come on. Like, he's fine.
On behalf of the community, Joe, you.
That's fine. I'll take that. I have big shoulders.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, this isn't the most inspiring match now, is it?
No, I think this is NYXL favorite. We'll see what Spark look like. I'm interested to see what Spark look like, though.
Cool. All right, well, let's go on to the next one then, and that's going to be the Charge versus the Spark. 65-35 in favor of the Charge.
See, now this is where I think Spark could come out. If we start to see Spark be like solve the problems, kind of shake the melee haze, I think Spark come out here and do well. But it really depends on what team shows up to play on NYXL. This one's tough. This one's tough to call without seeing either of these teams. But on paper,
for the audio listeners, he's saying absolutely nothing, by the way. I just want you to know.
For
those who are wondering if your podcast is buffering, if you lost internet connection, you didn't.
No, I'm still here. I'm just space braining.
Just silence.
Who's the DPS lineup that you'd want to run as Charge? You've got a lot of comps to cover on a lot of different maps. Nero happy.
Oh, come on. We can't at least think out loud. Jesus.
I mean, okay, so to think out loud to appease the audio listeners, it's like Ashe, Tracer. Yeah, that covers that. I guess you don't need to cover them all at the same time, but I think there are maps where you do. I'm gonna say Spark. I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I'll bite the bullet if they suck against New York. I think Architect is enough to put away the Charge.
I dislike that you're not high on Charge, so I can have the spicy take of Spark. But now I gotta say Charge.
I mean, you don't have to do anything.
I mean, I don't, but that is what logic dictates.
Oh, okay.
Is Nero back? Do we know?
Did he leave?
What?
Did he have to go get a visa or something? Again, like, I don't know.
No. He in terms of like he took a little break, right?
Maybe.
This man didn't watch any Charge, mate.
Did he not play?
Chad, okay.
Did he not play in the May Melee? Am I like space braining here?
No, okay, he's back in Korea. Okay. Yeah. So I remember him having to get a visa also. Okay. Of course, like, yeah, he played in May Melee. That doesn't necessarily mean that
100%. Like, maybe he took a break before that, but it's like, I didn't see Charge play a match last week, and since then he played in the May Melee, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's
no idea.
Recuperated fully. Like, okay, in my mind, why I'm asking that is like, if the Steam is out,
sure,
then a tournament is where you probably would find the most resources in yourself to compete, right? Yeah. I haven't heard anything like I've been. Can I say, okay, this is you ready? Boomer applying Zoomer lingo probably already while it's outdated. Like, I've been simping for Nero for a while, and
yeah, you just can't believe it.
This is the one we need right here. Show's done. No, we're done.
Okay.
You just use the word simp.
Yeah, I'm simping for Nero.
Simping for the end of the show.
I mean, I think Nero's good too. I'm okay. We're simping for Nero. Whatever. I'm simping harder for Architect then.
No, I'm simping for both of them. I can't.
You can't. You only get one. You only have enough budget for one OnlyFans. Okay.
Wait, let me see if there's a motion I can make that you can only see while the window on the OBS cuts up.
Just make the motion.
But you can imagine what kind of motion I could.
Yeah.
If you have seen Silicon Valley, right? Like, I'm efficient, so I can definitely double simp both Architect and Nero in the same game. I will say that the conservative pick. What about Neptuno? Neptuno's back, right?
No clue.
Then again, Chara's break is kind of nuts, which is banned. Man, see, this is when I start talking in my brain between the 7 Yiskas. Yeah, this is close, dude.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one without seeing either of the teams. And they both have good rosters, theoretically, right now.
We say Charge.
I don't hate I don't hate that either. Spark did not look alive in the May Melee, so unless they come out and completely turn it around, Charge easily could win this. But I think Architect will be enough to kind of push them in a direction to be able to compete with the Charge, and I think they can beat them.
I think it's going to be a tie.
Beautiful.
It's a tie.
There's going to be a giant pause, technical difficulty.
Losers. Yep. There are no losers.
See, nobody say that it's going to be a good match, because then it won't be a good match, naturally.
Exactly. We avoided that.
So one team will 3-0 stomp, as it always is.
Yep. No
Take
such thing as good
Destiny.
matches anymore. All right, matches anymore. Okay, this one shouldn't.
No, this is Joe, shut up. This is where we get our time back and stay on schedule. We're just going to say Shanghai.
Okay, yeah, Shanghai, move on.
Okay, so Shanghai versus Chengdu Hunters, 89-11 in favor of Shanghai. Shanghai.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yep, Shanghai wins.
All right.
Move on.
NYXL versus London. This one is saying 87-13.
Yeah. Well,
this one's also easy, right?
Yeah, this is New York, unless something massively tragic, heart attack rules be damned. This is a New York win.
Chat. Are we not proud of Joe? Like that he has overcome the growth he's had in not simping for Chengdu over the season?
Will say, if Chengdu played well the week before and they played the Dragons first, I think I could argue it, but not second in the week. You need to be able to cheese this team. You can't cheese this team if you play the match before. So
you gotta give up your coin soon of the anonymous Chengdu supporters. This is not the deal, dude. don't go back.
My monthly quota is expiring. I need to pay my dues, or I'm kicked out of the club, I guess.
You got to pay your doo-doos.
I do. Yeah.
Your doo-doo pisses.
Yep.
Yep.
I think I've paid my dues on that front tenfold.
Oh, too funny. Yeah.
But yeah, New York over London seems pretty cut and dry.
You guys just gave me a Shania Twain earworm. That's insane.
What?
I paid my dues.
Shut up. Move on.
we gotta get Joe to sing this during the.
Not happening.
Whoa! Yo! Called out. Is anyone in chat that doesn't know that song?
I genuinely don't. I know the artist. I don't know the song.
Shania Twain?
I know the artist. I don't know the song.
I know of Shania Twain. I know the song you're singing from, but I didn't know that was a Shania Twain song.
No, is it Shania Twain? No. It's
Bro.
What's it? Like the blonde American singer, always sunglasses.
Blonde American singer from that era.
Wait, which one?
Sheryl
Crow?
No.
Wait, can we move on? Jesus Christ.
Madonna.
Oh, it was Shania Twain.
Okay.
No, it was Anastasia. Okay. See? Okay. No, I imagine. Okay, this is why I think of you, chat. You ready? I think you're such Zoomers that your parents listen to Anastasia while you're driving to your holiday destination. Is that right? Well, I was unironically listening to that. And wait, I wasn't looking at that. Okay, it was Anastasia. Go on.
Faith Hill.
NYXL 80%.
Yeah.
Wait, how is everyone so old?
Yeah. We're done. Just get me out of here. NA's there's no NA matches at all.
So there are.
No, there are. I just don't think I want to play with you guys anymore. And take my ball and go home.
Nope.
That's kind of what I want to do right now. All right, I gotta get the thing up. Okay, here we go. Shock versus Eternal. 87-13. Shock.
I mean, yeah, this one might be one of those that I could break the ceiling on, and I might agree with. I don't know that the Paris have the. This feels like a roster problem, to kind of call back to the Gladiators discussion we were having earlier. Not being able to kind of field any kind of double hit scan really locks you out of Trace or Ashe, and I think that's going to be a massive problem for this team. Like, you are completely like one tricking the side of a meta, and I don't think Shock will have that problem, but I'm interested to see if they integrate Striker. One of the big questions that I saw kind of popping up a lot was, okay, if Tracer's being played, why isn't Striker playing? And my response to that was that because they had such little time to prepare, you can't easily integrate Striker into that roster. Now with the theory of dry scrimming and another week to kind of prepare with 2 week hero pools, do we see Striker come in on these Tracer ass maps? I'm interested. I still don't think it'll matter either way. I still think Shock wins pretty handedly, but I'm interested to see if we see a Striker showing.
Are they the only team that plays twice this weekend?
No, we had
I know NYXL played twice.
Right? You mean in NA?
In NA, yeah, in NA.
NA wise.
I'm trying to look through and just look at the things. It looks like they're the only ones that play.
Yeah.
To be fair,
yeah.
So here's something really interesting. I'm just looking at the odds overall right now. The lowest odds are 75, or the closest odds are 75-25 this weekend.
Yeah, it's a lot of one-side
everything
stuff, right?
else is 80 plus.
And that's some Pepega stuff, because, for instance, like Valiant against Florida is not that one-sided. Come on.
Yeah, no,
this is
I shouldn't.
Like, especially in this Valiant meta. Nah.
That should be a banger of a game.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But
okay, this one, like, I didn't even like what Paris was running. Like,
no,
like, well, this was like, I think this could have easily backfired just because you wanted to give the fans sparkle, which is fair.
Yeah,
like, this is an opponent that hasn't historically been like super strong. Then again, they just got off pretty sweet performances beforehand, and you got unreasonably close to giving them that series. But then again, like, it was also a bunch of blunders by Paris. So
yeah.
Also, I don't think anything that they planned there works against the Shock. I agree the double hit scan thing is an issue. Who would you even play? So Soon is one of them, right?
Yeah. So you're trying to like shoehorn in double hit scan with the roster that they have right now? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, double hit scan, or I guess it's not like.
Well, they've got the stupid Genji comp.
Yeah,
right? Where they put Sparkle on Genji, they Nano Blade, they win every fight, yada yada, right? Like, I don't think that works against teams more than once, right? Like, I think you've shown that card. Teams are going to kind of prepare for it. They're going to attack you before you can kind of set your Genji up to really get into a blade position. So you're blading as you're getting engaged into instead of engaging with the blade. I think that's just a very obvious way to kind of already mitigate that. And if you are getting engaged on, I think good teams will be able to kind of hold cooldowns knowing that you have Nano Blade available. So I think that card has been chill. I don't think that happens much anymore. Outside of that, though, like, they have May Reaper, May Doomfist, stuff like that on control. And
who's
like
playing what there?
It's so hard. Like, May Reaper, I guess you'd probably have to play like Eco May and then Sparkle Reaper. And then if you want to play like May Doom, you play Eco Sparkle again. Like, outside of that, I think that those are probably their two strongest compositions. So like, this is going to kind of depend on map pools for them throughout not having XCI. So even going into the tournament, like, their map picks in the tournament are going to be strong. But even then, you still can't field like a good chunk of the compositions that's, you know, meta right now. So it's a tough ask for pairs right now. Like, they're kind of hemorrhaging.
Yep.
Not enough to beat the Shock.
Yeah.
Okay.
75 Shock.
Mm-hmm.
On to the next one then, and that is going to be Rain versus Defiant. 75-25. Right into the mic, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Let me just serenade the viewers, the listeners, with my breaths. This one's tough to call because I do think there's an upset here. There could be an upset, I should say. I didn't see enough of an improvement, though, to think Atlanta's going to be able to lose to this team or like suffer or play down. Yeah, I'm going to have to go Atlanta. I'm not sold on Toronto. I think they still can level up. I still think they can improve. Maybe it was the Vancouver, you know, just being a weak team, so it's hard to judge like what Numlocked has really done to this roster. I think it's closer than people will expect. I'll say that, but I still have to give it to Atlanta until I see something significantly different with Toronto. I still have to vote against them. So I'm going to say Atlanta, like 60-40.
Okay. Yeah.
If Atlanta loses this game, yeah, it's massive. Like sell the stocks. Like this team is in free fall.
I think I'm like 65-35. I think on this one.
Yeah.
I think 75-25 is just a little bit. We just talked about Atlanta being consistent, but at the same time, I don't trust that shit for a second.
Yeah, it feels like like if you really want to be a believer, you can go to Toronto, but it feels reckless and not actually an accurate representation of the state of affairs. Like I still think Atlanta is a good team. They just got to get their stuff together. Also ran into like a Gladiators that was I would say like had good individual performances as well, but also wasn't otherwise fairly predictable in what they were going to do. So I was mildly disappointed that Atlanta didn't look more prepared. But then again, like I feel like Atlanta is missing that star player power that Ursa should give them.
We did see a sighting.
Yeah, but he's not there, and it's annoying.
No, he's not. I don't know why. Do I need to write an expose on Ursa now to get Brad on to calm the fires?
What can we say about Ursa?
I don't know. He's lazy.
See, that only works. We can do it for maybe twice more.
Twice more?
That's an old meme.
I don't get a handful of lazy cards.
What would be something? Urster.
Be careful.
Has an OnlyFans addiction and spends all of his time and money and resources.
Punched somebody's body pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Urster is a simp, basically, is what we're saying.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Atlanta's a weird team, but Toronto's kind of a weirder one. Like, I do think Toronto can improve, though. I think if things go well for them, by the summer tournament, I think they actually might be like a team that isn't just a complete meme. But they need to kind of perform here and make this like close. And they obviously need to perform in next week as well against the Fuel, which I think is doable. I don't think it's more doable than Atlanta, but I think you can make that close and actually like give yourself a little bit more confidence instead of just completely getting banged out, right? Like I think Toronto's on the up and up, or at least should be.
Fair enough. Going on to the next one then, it's going to be the Gladiators versus the Outlaws. And this is 85-15 Gladiators.
So we have Kevster, right?
Mm-hmm. We don't.
That's now a possible pick.
Yeah, we don't know if he's playing.
Right.
Or where he would be playing from. Presumably, he would be playing from EU. I think that's the safest bet.
I think, it's safe to assume
it's safe to assume that he's playing from Europe. It's not safe to assume that he is or isn't playing this weekend, unless they've said something official that we've missed.
Which I've completely missed if that's the case. That said, I do remember a very specific co-host of mine wondering if the Outlaws were going to do it.
Yeah. Did they do it, Joe?
They didn't do it. But again, it was against the Philadelphia Fusion, to be fair. Two different caliber teams that we're talking about. Philadelphia Fusion and the Gladiators.
Mm-hmm. That was a disingenuous question, by the way. I genuinely wanted to know if you thought that this that this was still a good performance despite the score.
I don't think it was that's such a cop-out response. I think the first half was good. The back half, not so much. I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, control looked good. Then it kind of went down.
Mm-hmm.
It really, I'm swayed. I'm swayed with a lot of the success that Dive has. That's kind of where my thinking lies, right? With teams like Paris having success with some Dive, with Asia having success with Dive, that plays into the Houston wheelhouse very well. However, Uma has not been seen. Well,
that's also true.
That is also true as well. Muma hasn't been seen. It seems like they've completely moved on to Hydration being the starting main tanker or giving Muma a break, which is fine and well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Hydration in dive comps.
Nope.
Monkey looks bad, right? Not great. But everything
also,
else,
Meko and Monkey and stuff like that is
not fantastic. Not my favorite look. If Muma completely isn't unavailable, let's say, for whatever reason, I think they could pilot a dive composition to be able to upset here. I don't think it's likely, though. Even with Kevster out of the picture, there's a lot of questions around this Houston roster. I think they could play double shield. I still like Gladiators in that. I think they like... I really don't know how to feel about the Gladiators. I think Kevster comes in, they win. Without Kevster, I think it's obvious, like significantly closer, but...
Significantly closer, like 70-30?
No. I'll give Houston a map. Yeah, I'll say 70-30.
Okay.
It's just this hero pool. I think. I think. I don't know, man. Houston's. It feels like they take a step forward with like bringing Hydration in, but it's like one meta too late. Or now you can almost play. Well, they have it. They've got Dante,
who played very well.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a tough one. I think this one
does a lot of thinking today.
I know.
These are hard to call.
Producing.
This one's a tough one.
80-20s are tough to call.
This isn't an 80-20.
These 80-20s.
This isn't. I'm even
honestly debating if Houston.
I am. I don't.
Man.
I'm not debating if they're favored. I think that'd be a tough ask. But okay, I'll say this. It depends on the maps. If they get a lot of good Ash Tracer maps, I think Houston actually could win. If they don't, I'm going Glads.
Do we know the maps already?
Depends on the maps.
I think we do. I'm guessing that.
I kind of want to force Joe. Like, if I had to listen to that drivel, at least I need him to commit to that.
Yeah, we've got the maps up right here.
Okay.
Busan.
Yeah.
Rialto.
Okay.
Kings Row.
Sure. I'll go Houston just on that. I'll go Houston 3-1. Just off those.
Bold, my friends.
I'll go Houston off that.
We got him, guys.
I needed the maps. I just needed maps.
Chad, you go off of like, can we clip that for a second and put that in TC dumb takes?
Dumb takes?
Please.
Go for it.
Where just like he goes from a 70-30 Gladiators to a 3-1 Outlaws just on the map. Let's just on the maps. Let's just have the context here for that. I think
put me in there, boys.
Lock me. I hope it's feeling good, Dream. I hope it's feeling good.
Bold.
I think there's a way, and I'm seeing it with those maps. I think those maps definitely favor them.
Okay. Good luck.
I'll take it. I'll take it and run with it.
Jeez. All right. On to the next one is Dallas Fuel versus. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, how can I get one?
Titans here?
Fuel versus Titans. 89-11. That's a big one.
Yeah, this one's rough.
Should I get a drink while you explain to us why this might be
Vancouver? I can't.
Do you want me to read the maps to you?
No, this one, it doesn't matter on maps.
we could have a little meditation in between Joe's thinking.
I can't
sessions.
I feel like if we don't go in harder on Joe, we're gonna get a bunch of seething comments on YouTube.
Come to me, my children.
I will say, as soon as we went in on Joe, we got a pretty sweet guest.
I'm a viewer pinata. Just beat me until you
recognition at this point.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, this is Dallas. I'll argue some close games,
Did they get a map?
No.
3-0.
Same.
Yeah. Great.
75. 80%.
Unless they play Busan.
Yeah, Busan, Kings Row, and Rialto.
Then
which case it's 55 then.
Yeah, 75. It's
guys.
75-25 actually for Vancouver on that one.
Man.
All right, here we go. I gotta snag this time stamp for the YouTubes. 120, 26. Has it been that long? 110.
I feel like we need like a button from Katie where it's like, it's not you're being such a bummer, it's you're being such a pepega.
You're being disingenuous. Which I'm not, to be fair.
You're being
genuinely
such a
think
liar.
Houston could win with good maps, and they have good maps. So
yeah,
I could have Katie just record. Joe, you're being such a idiot. And she could just say that.
That would just, I need that on my shoulder at all times, just blaring in my ears.
I feel like I'm getting hurt on the next one of the next three, so I gotta brace myself.
I feel like you've already been hurt.
Here we go. Boston Uprising.
I'm kind of short.
Boston Uprising versus the Fusion. No, we don't have odds on this one.
That's fair. I do think Boston is improving. This is not enough. You can't. This isn't far enough to bet against or bet for them, I should say.
Okay.
This is Philadelphia.
Chat. Safe.
Do you think they win a map though? Give them a map?
Yeah.
I think they're good enough for a map right now.
Right now, I think.
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
I
wouldn't judge you if you thought that from what we've seen from Boston the past few weeks that you think that they can take a map off of any. I think though that if you think that Boston takes a map off of Philly with what we know, you are effectively saying that they can take a map off of anybody.
Anybody?
I mean, anybody with Chipsa. Yeah.
True.
They're going to take the Chipsa
map. Come on. All right.
I wouldn't say anybody.
Okay, Yiska, where are you taking us?
No, that's what, like, unless they really meme and have a Doomfist map, I don't think so.
Fair enough.
I think Fusion is also like, there's no reason to toy around with it in the second week of hero pools when the meta is going to switch. You're just going to play your best, and then you're going to start preparing. That's the only thing where I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're already in preparations for the no hero pool meta potentially, but they want to start and be very, very early to that meta development. That's just about the only silver lining I have for Boston. Boston is like, it's not that they're a bad team right now. They clearly have distinguished themselves
for sure. Yeah.
Like, for instance, if they play Vancouver or Justice, I'm giving that blind to them.
Yeah.
Without seeing the maps and whether or not it's Rialto. But
when's it? I'll save this for the end of the show because this is completely derailing it. But
okay, so this is a 3-0.
Yeah, this
80%
is
Fusion. Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, Valiant versus Mayhem. 83% Mayhem on this one.
Yeah, no. I have to go Florida. I think this is probably going to be the match of the week, or at least the match of the West for the week, or the best match in the West, if that makes sense.
Match of the West of the week.
Yeah, that one. This is completely in their wheelhouse from last meta. I think they can just pilot the same composition that they've kind of excelled at for a while now and continue to do really well. That said, Valiant can also do the same, and they look fantastic as well. Still don't have the success that Florida does on this composition, so I have to give it to Florida, but I think this is actually going to be a really, really good game.
I'm glad that you said that. So now I can get my spicy take, and I survived it. I would have stabbed him from behind. Would have gotten him.
I don't hate Valiant here, to be fair.
Valiant. This is Valiant. And for the simple reason that this is their meta, if you think about it, right?
It should be.
They have two nuts hit scans that both very likely, or we've seen them excel on all the rows that could theoretically be played. They are in a great constitution right now.
Yep.
They start to be very cocky as well, which I like. They have the confidence down definitely right now. Talking spicy on Twitter, we stand that. And
we got Stan, we got Simp. What's next?
I'm about to have bingo. Okay, I'm going to take it to my bridge group, and they're going to.
Somebody get Eden on the phone.
Oh,
he needs a bridge partner.
I love playing Zoomer bingo with Yiska.
Yeah.
And I get to take the dentures home with me for that week. That's how
the golden dentures. Well done.
So I think this is a 60-40 Florida.
Florida? Yeah, you're going to talk about Valiant and then pick Florida?
Valiant, Pepega.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is 60-40 because I genuinely think that the Valiant are the third best team in this meta in NA.
Yeah, I think that's not super cooked.
So what you're saying, Shock and Fusion? Shock and Fusion or above?
Yes. And I'm not even sure if that is necessarily even true. It might just be that realistically the stars aligned here. And who did Valiant play last week?
Last week they played the Justice. So there's that.
Okay, that's not tell. That's kind of sad. That is kind of sad.
He's like, oh, where's my evidence? Where's my evidence?
Well, then we just got to go in blind and just say Shax
again,
is nuts.
It's a bad take.
KSP is nuts.
Yeah.
KSF is also nuts. Whatever other picks nuts will be needed. And Lastro's nuts.
The Gravy's performing very well.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's do it.
To add to your case, I think Valiant can play a fuller meta picture, if that makes sense. They don't have to be locked into Tracer Ashe, whereas Florida, I think that they're more confident playing that specific composition. I don't think that they're as strong on a wider breadth. So I think this is actually is Florida stronger on one composition than Valiant is on many. I think Valiant can play a wider pool. So I don't hate either team here. I think this is going to be a great match. Excited to see it. Hopefully, I wish this was the last game of the week instead of the next one. Because the next one is not much to talk about.
Oh, man. So there is one thing to talk about. So the last match is the San Francisco Shock versus the Washington Justice. And it is a 92-8 and sets the record for the largest delta that we've seen this year.
Yeah, this is a ceiling breaker. This is I'd go 90-10 on this. Like, as a betting man. Yep. I take it. Like, this is not happening. This is the worst team in the league, or worst team in the West versus the best team in the West.
I was gonna say, it's really nice of these odds guys to give to give Justice the extra 8%.
Yeah. God, man, I what do you say? Good team versus bad team.
Other than like the Kevin Malone, like if somebody tells you they'll give you 1,000,000 to 1 odds on anything, you take it. If John Mellencamp wins an Oscar, I'm gonna be loaded.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put 5 on Washington just to see, but it's not
5
happening.
of our patrons' dollars.
No, 5 of my own dollars. I'm not betting patron money.
Let's bet patron money.
Let's not.
Just kidding.
Let's not. Not affiliated in any kind of way with any betting sites. Trading, be gone.
No.
No. I think Shock wins. Easy peasy. That said. Can I throw in a question, though? Do we have time for a question? Hypotheticals.
Yeah,
Hypotheticals. We got a little time?
This is where I get hurt. Oh, my God.
Who wins Boston, Atlanta?
The fans.
Very, very PC answer.
Yo, that is a question.
That is a question.
I don't hate it. I thought I was getting hurt, but I'm actually taking Joe thought pauses instead.
I don't know.
The
That's
audio
tough.
listeners really appreciate it, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I will instead sing Anastasia or Shania Twain instead
and make and confuse the two
and get us all DMCA'd in the process.
Yes, of course, 100%. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you.
It's putting a lot of faith in yourself of being close enough to match the algorithm.
Yo, like, rude, dude.
Yeah, jeez. I've heard you sing. I've heard you sing 99 Red Balloons.
No, it was 99 EMPs.
99 EMPs, and then what was it? Hit Me Baby One More Time. You did?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No,
I had a couple karaoke hits.
I wanted that. I wanted Hooreg.
no. It was Who Y'all. Bye bye bye.
Bye bye bye.
Oh yeah, Who Y'all's Bye Bye Bye.
I mean, yeah, that
actually farming on your YouTube, by the way. The last I checked, like stupid amounts of views.
It does, but it also received a DMCA warning.
Oh, unlucky. Well, you know, you roll the dice sometimes.
But I never put it public. It's unlisted. So why can they?
It's out. It's just the algorithm. They just fish it out and slap you with the ban. But to kind of bring you back, where do you go? Atlanta, Boston. I don't hate it either way, but I really do think Boston could upset that.
The
depends on the week, but
ask me next week.
It's probably going to be close, but I still gotta give some respect to the Atlanta boys. Like,
if they keep losing, they get like the confidence. The problem.
Yeah.
If the Rain lose. Or
Rain lose Toronto?
If Rain lose to Toronto, or I will say this, if the Rain lose or give up 2 maps to Toronto, I think Boston wins.
Yeah. What if Boston looks decent against Philly? Still gets banged out.
I would say if Boston wins or takes it to.
Can you imagine Boston winning Philly?
Oh, Joe.
What's up, gamer? What up?
Who's winning between Toronto and Boston?
Oh, I'd have to go Boston.
Boston.
I like strong Boston. I have a strong Boston.
Really?
Yeah. Unless Toronto cut. I didn't see enough. Again, Toronto, Vancouver is okay. Yeah. Toronto. If Toronto doesn't win that game, we've got problems. So that's like a gimme. If Toronto could come in and actually play well against Atlanta, okay, now we've got a question on our hands. Numlock comes in, actually boosts this team, gives them the leadership that they need. It looks right on paper, right? Numlock to Toronto looks fantastic on paper. Where was Vancouver to pick up Numlock? I don't know. Anyways, I like Toronto on paper. I just need to see it executed.
They just got to earn it. You got to earn it, man, because we gave them the on paper benefit of the doubt, like the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Or whatever. The first half.
They were supposed to come in and look good.
Yeah, it's they got all these cool, veteran presence, Western players who kind of play a little bit above where you might necessarily put them, and then they didn't.
Let that be a lesson to you all. In the beginning, Joe will offend you. Then he will befriend you, and then he's standing behind Baroy just with a dagger. It's all over.
Offend.
That's not true, Dennis.
And upend. Yep.
There you go. Show title.
Yes.
I just want me in a cloak,
Yiska won't let it.
Oh, really?
That's why I said simp. That's the reason. I SEO'd it before.
There you go. SEOgenerator.com. What's the hot trends?
Jeez.
What are some hypothetical games that you'd like to see? Maybe in the tournament. Obviously, we won't have Yiska next week, so I'm trying to milk him for content.
No, next week is still.
That's actually kind of gross. Never mind me saying that.
We still got a nice.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, next week it's fine. The week after. So you won't have me for the prediction for the tournament.
You're right.
But next week is also the first no hero pool week.
True.
And then the tournament is right after.
Do you think no hero pool? Yeah, it probably definitely changes things.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think it significantly changes the archetypes we're seeing. I still think we'll still see double shield Tracer Ashe. I think that still looks good. But again, that's a conversation for next week.
I feel like I talked to a bunch of coaches recently, also for the article I wrote, and a lot of them expressed the belief that Rush Comp, or in some sense Goats, it's not to a T, is the best archetype in the game still. And I'm not sure if that's residual confidence in that specific archetype.
I don't.
but we'll see. Like, it's
I think
not
it's I think it's a good archetype, but I don't know if I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not a coach, but I think even with like the whole like goats is the best comp in the game, we've solved the game kind of discussion. Like we saw that upended by the end of it. We didn't get to see it really play out, just to see if like, oh, maybe it was bad goats teams or like underperforming or they didn't have enough time to figure it out. But I don't know. I feel like there's enough questions around that idea of Deathball is the best composition in the game to play at any given time that we can healthily have a skeptical eye, or have a healthy skeptic's eye. So, yeah.
Okay, we gotta go. We're gonna cut it a little bit shorter this week. I mean, it's not shorter. It's still 15 minutes over our goal time. So, you know,
no reason to run it 2 hours.
No more
every
2
week.
hours. If you want to invest an extra half an hour, go listen to the Arnold podcast.
It's banger. Okay.
I think I'm gonna upload it to the. Honestly, I think I'm gonna upload it to the Spike Drop.
Yeah. There's enough clips in there
as well. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. But yeah, hey chat, thanks for hanging out today with us. Hope you had a ton of fun. Let's do the thing with the stuff.
The thing with the patrons?
New patrons this week. Joe, what's up?
New patrons, we've got Connor B, Roger B, perhaps related, nobody knows. Roger B upped his pledge to producer, so thank you very much. And
Episode
Stephen
110,
W.
buddy.
Oh, incorrect. Episode 110.
We've got. We thanked you on
that
Monday
is last
for that.
week.
But
that is true.
Again.
You're getting a double shout out. Okay. Chris R 34444. Hopefully that's 4 4s. If not, we love you anyways. Thank you, Chris, for your patronage. We appreciate you
and your kinship, of course. And
yes,
then the new subs. The new subs.
Was that a question for me? I don't understand.
yeah. I'm waiting for that. Okay.
I loved it. You just grabbed it and went.
See that I'm learning. I was kind of anxious. I couldn't find the tab that I had open. It's like, no, where is it? I have tab management problems. Anyway, see, I gotta go through them first in my mind's eye.
I'm not that bad of a person.
I'm scared of you.
I don't have a dagger.
I mean, I'll ask Roy, but it's already it's sus. It's sus. Third zoomer.
That was the third zoomer. There it is. Sus.
Bingo.
So new subs, Isaac and Wellard OW. Yep. Thank you for the subs.
It's Wellard's first time checking out the show live. So hey, shout out.
Welcome,
they actually
just
asked in the chat, what's our status on getting partnered? We haven't gotten a decision yet. It's still under review. It's supposed to be giving us an answer in under a week, and most are done in 2 to 3. But with COVID and everything, I've had people say that they're getting theirs in 5 to 6 weeks. So that might be a little bit more to where we're at right now. So stay tuned, and thanks for hanging out and helping us stay over all those thresholds and stuff during the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Other than that, big thank you again to our patron producers. Battlecrab Pin Lotion, Charlie L, Audio Compass, Pork Chop, Sammy, Kasha 67, Coochie Kopi, Shara Picasso, Nathan Your Misery, Hunter Tane, Refined Bean, Rex Zane, Roger B, Fabled Steven, and Owen. Thank you so much.
It's getting long.
I noticed in between, like you were like trying to rush it, and then you were like, oh wait.
It's not even hard anymore.
I'm the shit. I can do this. And I can like slow down, drag it, and
it's getting
dive
longer,
to the pits.
But my lung capacity is just huge. I mean, I can do it probably. Battlecrab Pin Lotion, Charlie L, Audio Compass, Pork Chop Sammy, Kasha 67, Coochie Kopi, Shara Picasso, Nathan Your Misery, Hunter Tane, Refined Bean, Rex Zane, Roger B, Fabled Steven, and Owen.
I was seriously thinking if I have any way to reach Katie in the case you fall unconscious because of this.
It's getting long. I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep this up for too much longer. I think by like 150 we're gonna have to either like pre-record you and like press a button so that you can get it out in like one take, but it's getting rough.
No.
You think?
I'm committed.
How many more?
Oh, you could double that list, I think.
Ooh.
I bet you I can go through this. I bet you I can go through this list twice.
Twice in one breath?
This man deep dives.
All right, here we go. We're going to do it. I never get to do fun things, so we're going to do it. Battlecry, Pin, Lotion, Charlie L, Audio, Compass, Pork Chop, Sammy, Kasha 67, Kuchi Kopi, Shara, Picasso, Nathan, Your Misery, Hunter, Tane, Refined Bean, Rex, Zane, Roger B, Fabled, Steven, Owen, Battlecry, Pin, Lotion, Charlie L, Audio, Compass, Pork Chop, Sammy, Kasha 67, Kuchi Kopi, Shara, Picasso, Nathan, Your Misery, Hunter, Tane, Refined Bean, Rex, Zane, Roger B, Fabled, Steven, Owen.
Getting close. You're getting close.
But I can double
That's
it.
Close.
We can double it.
Well done.
Yeah. Generic Joe, thank you for the
last
sub.
minute. Thank you, Joe. Fellow Joe.
Generic
Hopefully.
Joe. Yeah.
It's like a parody account of mine.
Anyways, oh man, Yiska, don't post links. Always sus. Always sus.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd click on that.
Yeah, and if you do like the show and want to show your support, go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch. Leave a sub here like the amazing Isaac Wellard and Generic Joe did, or just join us live. That's really cool too. Hope you had a ton of fun. Find me everywhere at Kickedtripod. I do have a new YouTube channel on my own. It is bit.ly/KickedTripodYT. If you want to go there and check it out, I would really appreciate it. I've got a big review coming out tomorrow. I got access to an unreleased product that not very many people are having, and I'm putting a ton of time and effort into making it really good.
Yes.
So,
check that out.
Any of those subs that you can send that way to help me grow the channel, I'd really appreciate it, because the show now has its own YouTube channel. Basically, I took what was previously youtube.com/KickedTripod, rebranded it to Tactical Crouch, and then moved all my stuff over. So, anyways, thank you so much for that. Yiska, really quick, since I took all your time, shout outs for the week. Where can people find you?
I just released an article talking about breaks with 5 head coaches, as always, on GG Recon or on my Twitter at Yiska.
Hey, Joe, what about you?
Follow me on all the socials. They're under my face. I'm sure you can figure that out. This week, a lot of Overwatch coming. Talking about my favorite cooking recipe on how to make fantastic matches, on how to make them magical. We're going to be revealing that to you all, so you can make your own at home in the pandemic. And then on the weekend, doing a feature on Shax, somebody who I think has completely slipped under the radar for far too long, and is finally showing his stuff. So that's what's coming.
Oh, I missed this. Supreme is the new coach for the Washington Justice.
I mean, Shocker.
Yeah, true. That was pretty obvious. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay. I'm done.
I'm fully Korean. Already had a Korean on the coaching staff.
I knew that they were going to go fully Korean and they would have a Korean, but I just didn't think that they would.
I guess, yeah, that's a fair shout. Like, maybe they bring in somebody else as head coach. They kind of feel pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't improve them, though. No offense.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, still 92.8. All right, chat, we're out of here. Join us Friday at 2 p.m. For Tactical Crouch game night. It'd be a ton of fun. Other than that, have a good one. We got to get out of here, but we will see you on Friday for Spike Drop or Monday for the match recap.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, guys. Bye.